The Nintendo Switch is literally a gaming masterpiece. Released all the way back in 2017, it's still chugging along strong and selling like hotcakes. Everyone is still buying this fine piece of plastic to this day. But why? There is a very simple answer to that, gentlemen. Nintendo. The Switch game library is considered by many to be one of the best, and I do not disagree if I have to say so myself. To run those games, you need a console, and that console is the Switch. Whether it's the Switch LITE, regular Switch, or the Switch OLED, they all just work and run smoothly. Sounds charming, right? Well, in that case, allow me to explain why the Switch is still worth your hard-earned cash. You might consider if the Switch is worth it or not because of the console's age, and that is totally understandable, especially with the potential launch of the Switch 2 in the near future. But despite that, there are several reasons why you still shall be considering to get a Switch. Firstly, let's eliminate one of those reasons by highlighting that you have access to a huge game library. We are starting to close in on the end of the Switch life cycle, but yet, it's still receiving new games. And not just any games, several big ones from Nintendo such as the recent Tears of the Kingdom. There are tons of titles you can enjoy and you are still getting the most recent games, even from Nintendo themselves. Although a genuine interest in Nintendo games is a must. Mario, Zelda, Animal Crossing, gentlemen, you already know this stuff. This is what you're buying the console for. If you want to play other games then sure, some of them work just fine, while others run poorly because of the hardware which is behind the competition. And yes, this also regards to the Switch OLED. If you want juicy graphics and every gamer's high FPS requirements, while having the ability to touch on grass outside, well, snow in this case. But then for instance get a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally for a slightly more amount of dollars. Sure, they're cool, but having a reliable battery, great performance in Nintendo's exclusive games, while being in a compact and portable chassis, makes it an ideal choice for playing games on the go in handheld mode, or dock the console to enjoy its games on a bigger screen. Graphics and cutting-edge technology isn't as important as the gameplay itself on the Switch, and I covered this topic in this video where Nintendo did the same with the Wii. And that's the right move for these kind of consoles, since they are unique in their own way. Still, I can't say that the Switch would be my primary gaming machine, more like a companion to my gaming rig, because it's missing out on several games, especially mature ones. And I'm going to be honest with you here and say that I'm not the biggest Nintendo fan on the planet. That definitely doesn't mean I don't like the Switch. In fact, being a portable console, it's still the best one on the market in my opinion. Although when slacking on the couch, I prefer the other beefier machines to play on, with the only exception being if I'm playing a brand new Mario or Zelda game, which are plenty of fun. My main games, or whatever you wanna call it, aren't available on the Switch, and I'm completely fine with that. Everyone enjoys different types of games, so the Switch could very well be your main gaming machine. But be aware of the high game prices which are rarely on sale, especially games from Nintendo themselves. Jeez! That is a high price for an old game. Still a good one though. On the other side, one thing that isn't expensive is Nintendo Online for only $20 a year. That's a price unheard of on the PlayStation, and also on Xbox now when Game Pass is never on sale for $1 anymore. Speaking of prices, they are unfortunately the same as they were when the consoles first launched, as shown here on the screen. But they are packed on the used market, which makes it a great opportunity for you to score a Switch for a good price. You might have to do some digging, like in my case. Also, be cautious about the condition and check that it actually works before you buy it. For instance, check if the Joy-Cons have stick drift or not. Thank you! And if the next Switch would drop soon, then you shouldn't be too worried about the resale value. Yes, it will be lower versus when you bought it, but it probably won't lose much of its value. Why? It's Nintendo. For instance, I really want to get a Wii U, but I'm not paying those prices. No. And yeah, you could argue that the Wii U is becoming more and more rare due to its fatal flop on the market, which led to higher prices. But then, there's the 3DS which everyone and their mama had.
Hello, little stylus.
Hello, Mario.
And they are still, in most cases, wicked expensive. When the next Switch launches, I can promise you that the Switch will continue to maintain relevance for the next few years. Look at the PS4 and Xbox One for instance. People like no other than this fellow gentleman right here are still using and quite frankly enjoying them several years after their successors have been released. Their market value has seen a big hit because the PS5 and Series consoles have been out for well over 3 years, so you really can't compare the Switch to the used market value of the PS4 and the Xbox One. If the resale value of the Switch is something you're grumbling about, then you shouldn't be no more. Just the game library alone is no doubt well worth it. Which is probably why the Nintendo game prices are consistently so goddamn high. I've experienced this since I bought the Switch on launch day. Turned out I sold it shortly after because it was also lacking in a proper game library with actually enjoyable titles. But that was the past, and since then, I now got the 2019 edition Switch because when I bought it in 2020, it had more to offer rather than just playing snipper clips all day. I believe that many people got tired of the Switch back then and eventually returned, sold, or just let the Switches lay in the drawer collecting precious particles called dust. But as of right now, I'm a happy boy with my Switch. Performance is great and battery life is everything I could have asked for. Worth to mention, each console doesn't have horrible loading times, at least on original Nintendo games. They can be expanded with additional storage and they all have the ancient but beloved headphone jack. Just some touches I personally enjoy. Even the Switch Lite can do all of that. But the Switch Lite is missing the f***ing Switch functionality and it's still called a Nintendo Switch. What the fuck? So basically it's a revision of the DS. That is, if you would call it a revision, since you now only get one screen this time around. Yeah! Now, who should get a Switch and which one? Ultimately, you buy the Switch for the Nintendo games and for the experience that this innovative console gives you. It's all about fun gameplay and not the graphics, but the visuals can still be charming. Moreover, many games are a delight to play with friends and family. If you're even remotely considering whether you want to experience gaming on both the compact Switch display and a TV, or if you believe that co-op could be cool, then either get the regular Switch or the Switch OLED. Save the hassle and do not pick the Switch Lite. On the other hand, if you know you're only going to play solo and travel a lot, then the Switch Lite could be ideal to save some cash. And when comparing the OLED model to the regular Switch, I believe it's well worth the extra $50. You get Nintendo's premium console with a bigger and more pleasing screen, enhanced audio and an actual stand instead of this flimsy piece of plastic. Okie dokie, now it should click that it's absolutely worth to take a portion of your cash to grab a Switch if you're seeking portable entertainment. Alrighty fellas, that will cost you 1 subscribe for the provided knowledge, and if you want more quality content, then I will leave you with these videos shown on screen.